Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a conversation for creatives, introverts, sapiosexuals, and all of the people entertained and who love us. I am Liz Flo, the podcast host, poet, writer, and overall Afro-Caribbean Latina creative. I know that is a mouthful, but welcome to the show. Welcome to Creatively Exposed. Today, I've had a reoccurring thought about creation and being a creative. Usually, it's a very idolized kind of like, this is beautiful and always an amazing thing, and although it is, there's a lot of growth and discomfort and pain and vulnerability that creatives put out into the world sometimes, and with that come that voice in your head of maybe this won't work out, or you're unworthy, or whatever critical voice that, sometimes I have beef with. And I even went to therapy and discussed it. And I just want for everyone, right? For people who are in spaces that are uncomfortable for them, especially people of color, Black people, brown people, marginalized people, lean into the mess. I think that existing and living is a creative venture. And it's not always beautiful, it's not always, it's never linear. We think that we're gonna get to this one point and everything will be just right. But what we don't sit and realize when we look back is that we're where we want it to be, and still there's a lot more we wish to improve. And I was listening to an episode for NaNoWriMo, The Creative Pen. And the creator or founder, the head of NaNoWriMo, the first thing that stuck out to me was when he said, if you're writing 50,000 words in a month, those dishes might not get done. In my case, I might not eat in time, or something has to give, because I feel like there's a lot of pressure, especially as a woman, that you need to do all these 600 things. But it's how? If I'm creating, I'm not organizing my closet. I'm not washing my clothes. My house is not in this mint condition that I would like it to be in. So therefore, I say lean into the mess. It might be literally, it might be figuratively. Lean into the feelings that come up with being creative and vulnerable and naked, and accept the fact that sometimes adding a sentence to something is a grueling process, or actually making the time for your passion is a battle with all of your other responsibilities. And I say that to you, but I'm also saying this to me. During therapy, the theme and the advice is not guilting ourselves for enjoying life, enjoying what we're creating, enjoying a moment of just fun. And forgive yourself for maybe running away from whatever duty or desire that you've wanted to do for a long time because reality and obligation has taken precedent. So, to all the creatives who haven't worked on their projects, finished whatever they've wanted to finish and maybe put out to the world, or that have had that idea just sitting in their, mind or notes app that has been calling to their soul and hasn't expanded on it yet. You're right where you're supposed to be. Sometimes there are experiences that are needed in order to move forward and make the plan and execute it when it's time to execute it. And if that's a year from now, then it's a year from now, you know? I think that I always feel like I'm running out of time all the time. And that causes unnecessary strain on everything, really. So you're not less of a writer. You're not less of an artist. You're not less of a person because you have not been creating. Like I said, living is its own creation, so therefore it manifests in a different way. Maybe you're loving yourself more. Maybe you're loving someone else more. Maybe you're just in the today more than you were yesterday. And that in itself is its own beautiful art. Be gentle, guys.
So today, October 27, is a Scorpio new moon. And what does that mean? So the vibes are very scorpionic, and I'll, of course, break that down. But for the 3 days before the moon and after the moon, you're going to feel a shift. And I wanted to discuss it because I feel like we've all been kind of feeling this kind of vibe, and sometimes we don't realize that we are, in a large percent, made out of water. And moons are going to affect us just like they affect the tide. When I think of the new moon in Scorpio and the Scorpio season in its entirety, I think of deep waters and phoenix energy. And so when I say that, I mean we're going beyond the surface of just being. We're digging deep into our relationships, ourselves, the things that excite us or don't excite us, creative energy, sexual energy, and burning to ashes what no longer serves us in order to be more in our power and to be our most in tune selves. And so if you notice that something's off, or you feel more vulnerable than usual, or things are just a lot more complicated than what you're used to, flow with it and see where it takes you. I have been stalking Anchor for the longest. I've seen how easy it is to edit stuff, to record from your phone, work on it with your computer. I've even done some testing with friends to see how it works. So it's super easy. It sounds really, really good. You're listening to me right now. And they'll put it everywhere that you listen to podcasts. From Apple to Google to Spotify and everywhere else. And you can make money from it without, having this huge base of people. So download Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started and do what you've been wanting to do now.
So, what are you listening to? I recently listened to I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter, but I listened to it in Spanish, which was Yo No Soy Tu Hija Perfecta Mexicana by Erica L. Sanchez. Vivi lit. I don't ever say that, but it was really lit. And I loved everything about it. I like how the title resonated in so many different ways within the book. The theme was really dope, and the storytelling is just really vivid and colorful, and the constant struggle of the daughter and mother relationship is something that I think many of us can identify with. And comparison is truly the thief of joy. Shout out to my bestie who taught me that. Because that was the whole struggle. I mean, something really traumatic happens, and everyone knows how to deal with trauma their own way within the family. And as things are uncovered and things are understood, you realize that there's so many layers to this. Even like how we may view our parents. And especially as teenagers, everything sucks as a teenager, right? And then you start seeing your parents as people. And you realize they're really truly doing the best that they can. And sometimes it's not enough for us as children of a different generation, of a different place, a different viewpoint. And the main character is hilarious. She's very sarcastic. She sees the world in the eyes of a writer, a very gloomy writer, but she's just trying to not conform to what everyone expects her to be. And she feels hated by her family for it. But it's all a misunderstanding. And it also talks about mental health in the Mexican community. It's from a Mexican standpoint, the title. But